Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Tuesday, 15th day of March. Here we go. Okay, so you've heard a lot from me about Matanos Lavyanu, giving gifts to the poor on the day of Purim, and now a new facet to that law. You may have heard from me, for example, that if you have $500 to give away to the poor people, better to give $501 donations to 500 poor people than to give $500 to one guy. And when you look at the real reason behind Matanos Lavyanim, I bet a lot of you listening to this would say God wants us giving gifts to the poor on the day of Purim because they need the money and we should help them. Now that is for sure a nice reason. And I'm not going to say no to that because of course it's nice to help poor people. But what you might not realize, and this might shock you a little bit, is that when you dig a little deeper and you look at what a lot of the rabbis say about us giving to the poor on Purim, it is of course because poor people need money. Yeah. Nobody's going to negate that. But now a surprising little twist to it, and that is that God asks us to give money to the poor people on Purim. Here it is in a nutshell, because we need it. Pause while you think about that. Of course the poor people need your money, and of course you want to give them your money, but you need to give money to the poor people, and I'll tell you why. It's because this is a day when God asks us to increase our joy, our happiness. And you might think that to increase my joy and happiness, I'm just going to have a Suda, which we do, and I'm going to get drunk, and that makes me happy. And well, there's something to that, but happiness does not exactly work like that when you look at it in the deeper sense. Real happiness is not going to be achieved by just putting a lot of heavy food in your stomach. When you intake, and give to yourself, that's really like treating yourself like a bottomless pit that cannot be satisfied with just the most delicious ice creams or the delicious meats or the most alcohol. That's not how a human was built to become happy. Here's the crux of today's halacha. A human was built to become happy in helping others. That might sound corny to you at first blush, but it's deeply, deeply true. When you take and take for yourself, win the lottery and get a lot of money and just buy yourself a bunch of sports cars, you'd find out very quickly that it's not working and you're not happy. And that the greatest happiness comes to people when they are unselfish and they are giving to others. Ask anyone who understands life deeply. Any psychologist, any psychiatrist, or anybody who understands life would tell you that happiness is really found in giving. When you are able to help others, it just feels so good to help others. And that's actually the main reason that God asks us to give to the poor on the day of Purim, because He wants us to feel the ultimate joy. Now, to you people who are listening to this with a little bit of cynicism and say, but it hurts me to watch so much of my money just fly away on Purim, and I had $1,000, and when Purim's over, I have $1,000 less. Well, that's a very cynical attitude on life, and it's not supposed to be that way. If giving away your money hurts you, and your stingy instincts get all sore and depressed when you give away a lot of money, then something's wrong with you. Seriously, the way it's supposed to, the way you're supposed to be built as a good person is that giving should make you happy. If giving doesn't make you happy, then something's wrong with you. I hope that doesn't sound too harsh. I'm giving Musar, I'm giving you some deep thoughts that you need to think and hear about yourself. If giving doesn't make you happy, then something's wrong, because Olam Chesed Yibana. The world was built to be a place of giving. You were built to be a giver. God is a giver, and we emulate Him. So, on this day of Purim, God asks you to give lots of money to the poor people, because that ultimately should bring you happiness. And work on yourself to see to it that you're happy when you give to others. That is the greatest fulfillment of yourself, is when you become selfless. Because when you're feeding your bottomless pit, you're actually accomplishing nothing except it'll help you stay alive till the next day. But when you're giving to others, you're giving yourself eternity. This is a deep thought, and this is where happiness is really found. And that's why God puts a big stress on giving to the poor on the day of Purim. Hope you get that. It's a deep, deep insight. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.